Hey guys, welcome back to another day of online math learning. Hope you guys are doing well. You had a wonderful weekend and ready for another great week of online learning. Just want to let you guys know that once again, I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's going great with your families. And just want to let you guys know that I have been thinking about you all. I do miss you, do miss being in class with you guys. And hopefully we get that opportunity to convene back together before the end of the school year. Okay. Today we're actually towards the end of topic 6 already. Hard to believe, right? Since we've done 2 lessons, we are skipping over 6.3 and 6.4. We're going right into 6.5 today, and then on Thursday, you guys will be doing 6.6. 6.5 and 6.6 are very similar, just a tad. Tad different. And today with 6.5, we're going to look at finding the part or percent in an equation, or in an equation. And then 6.6, you're going to be dealing with finding the whole. Okay. So we're taking it up a level here. The ones that we've done recently with percent, we've mainly just been finding percent. I've been finding a part or a whole, and everything we've done has allowed us to multiply that number, divide the number to get to 100, and then be able to write the percent. Today's going to be a little bit different in what we're going to accomplish. Okay, as I said, we're going to start writing these in equations and being able to find more than just the percent. So just recall that percent can always be used to compare a part to a whole. Okay? And that's exactly what a percent is telling. It's telling you how much of that part do you have compared to the whole amount. Okay? In a percent, the whole is always 100. Okay, so whatever percent you have, if it's 20%, 15%, 52%, 73%, the whole is always going to be 100%. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So the first thing we're going to do is look at finding a part. Okay, and there's 2 ways that we can use to find a part, and I'm going to show you both of those ways, and in both cases we're writing an equation. Okay. So first we want to find out what is 85% of 20. Okay, so what is 85% of 20? The first way you can go about finding this is using the idea of proportional reasoning with ratios. Okay, and when you do that, you will always write your ratio or your rate as is over of. Okay, and that will equal part percent. Oops, that's not the best way to write that. So the part percent, really just the percent over the whole percent. This idea of part and whole. The is will always represent the part, and the of will always represent the whole. So really what you're saying is part over whole. Okay? So in this case, when you see what is 85% of 20, okay, well right now you don't know what the is actually represents. It says what is. So what you can do instead is you can leave that part blank, because you don't know what that numerator is. And then of 20, well, it's telling you, since the of's next to 20, that you are going to use the 20. The 20 then, since it's of 20, the 20 is representing the whole. And the is, whatever the is, sounds weird to say, it is representing the part. So this is part. Now the way to write this, I'm going to write it over here, okay, is the part over the whole. Okay, and that's exactly what we're writing down here. We don't know what the part is. That's what we need to find, but we know what the whole is. And then we can always set this up to the percent. So we know We have 85%. We want to know what is 85% of 20. So on the other side, we're going to write the percent. Well, to write the percent, we're going to write it as a ratio. We would write 85 over 100. Okay. And then you can go ahead and go about your normal reasoning here with percent. You can break out your calculator. You would need to figure out what you need to do to go from 20 to 100, or in this case, go backwards, go from 100 to 20. Well, as we've practiced before, we know 5 times 20 is going to get you 100. Or if you use your calculator, I'll turn mine on. If you take 100 and divide it by 20, so 100, and you divide that by, try to get closer, 20, you will get 5. Okay? So 5 is what you would multiply by 20 to get 100. Or, the other way, you would divide 100 by 5 to get 20. So you actually have to do the same thing going backwards to get our missing part. So you know this number times 5 would get you 85. So now to go backwards, you're actually going to have to divide by 5. Let's go ahead and do this. So 85 divided by 5, and that's going to get us 17. So we know the missing part is 17. Okay, and this is one way that you can do it. Over time, this way gets a little messy because you're not going to get great numbers that's going to go from like 20 to 100. You're going to get a little messier. So my recommendation, and kind of the way that you need to start transitioning to, is thinking of writing this as an equation. This is an equation over here, but we're also going to use the equation when dealing with percents. A equals PB, where A is the part, P represents your percent, and B represents the whole. Using this equation, you have to have a pretty good understanding of what part and whole is. So in this case, we're finding the part. Anytime it's asking you what is, it's the same idea. You're going to find the part. Okay, this is what you're missing. But you can also consider writing this as an equation. So you're looking for what? What is? Well, remember, is an equal sign. So right now, really what this says is A equals. You don't know the what, so you can use a variable. In this case, it's A. So what is, then you can substitute in your percent, your 85%. I'm going to write that just like this. And recall anytime you have two variables next to each other, the operation that's in between them is a multiplication. So this is P times B. So you're going to take 85% and you're going to multiply it by the whole, or the of in this case, which is of 20. And recall that word of means multiplication. So you're taking 85% of 20, you're 85% times 20. So your equation, using A equals PB, you would have A equals 85% of 20. Now we want to convert this 85% to a decimal. Okay? And there's two ways. You can convert it to a decimal, or you can actually leave it as a percent. And I'll show you in your calculator in just a second how to do that. When you convert 85% to a decimal, well, you're going to get 85 hundredths, and we're going to multiply that by 20. Okay. When we do that, we get A equals, so I'm going to take the calculator, I'm going to type in the 8500, so 0.85 multiplied by 20, and when you do that, you should get 17, which is what we got up here. So 17 is the part, is 85% of 20. It's telling you that the number 17, since 20 is the whole in this case, 20 is representing the whole amount, 100%. 17 is the 85% of that whole amount of that 20. Okay. So when you another way that you could type this into your calculator using percent, your calculator actually has a percent sign, and it is the open parentheses right here. It's the second function. So if you were to hit, let's say 85, so I'll hit 85, and then you hit the second button, turn on all the second functions, and you hit that open parentheses, now you're going to see it says 85%. You can go ahead and hit multiply 20, and it will give you the same exact answer of 17. And so you can type your percent into the calculator as percent or as a decimal. Okay, so 17 is the part of 80 is the part in this case, and not the whole. Okay, 17 is 85% of 20. Let's keep looking, guys. So now let's find the percent. Okay. Once again, in this case, because we're going to get some nasty numbers here, I recommend using the equation. So let's use our equation. A equals PB. Okay. So we want to know what percent of 315 is 126. Well, recall the A is the part, or the is, and B is the whole, or the of. So if you see of something, that's B. If you see is something, that's going to be the A. So looking at this, we want to know the percent, meaning we got to figure out what P is. And we have of 315 is 126. So we're going to take 126 and substitute it in for A. We don't know the percent, that's what we need to figure out. And then we're going to substitute in 315, so multiply by 315. And now, just like you guys did before with one-step equations, you're going to have to set up a t-chart and solve this out. So how would we isolate the variable p by itself when we have p times 315? In order to do this, we have to undo multiplication. Only division will undo multiplication, so we have to divide by 315 on this side and crosses that out, and do the same thing on the left side of our equation. This is where you can take your calculator again, and you would have 126 divided by 315, and you're going to get a decimal number that looks like 0.4. Okay. I'll write that below, 0.4. Now we wanted the percent. This isn't written as a percent, it's written as a decimal. So in order to get this as a percent, we have to now convert our decimal to a percent. Well, the way you can do this, go ahead and put a 0 there, make it in the hundreds place, write it as a fraction. So 40 hundredths is the same as 40 over 100, which is the same as 40%. So in this case, your P, or your percent, is 40%. And so 40% of 315 is 126. You can read it exactly as it's written once you figure out the percent. So 40% of 315 is 126. Let's take a look at some more examples. Okay. Find the following amount. What is 75% of 16? I want you guys to go ahead and try that one on your own. So for this one, you should have realized that you're looking for the part because it says what is. You don't know what the is. You have 75%, and your whole amount is 16, is of 16. So when you use the equation A equals PB, you're going to leave A alone because you don't know the part, substitute in percent, which is 75%, and the whole, which is 16. You can then multiply 75% by 16 in your calculator and get 12, which is what we get down here, A equals 12. Now, I'd like you guys to go ahead and try this one on your own. Find the percent. What percent of 20 is going to be 5? So for this one, you're looking for the percent. So in your equation, A equals PB, you know that the part is going to be 5 because it says is 5. A is the part, and the part is always represented by is. Okay. The whole, or B, is always represented by of, so of 20. So you substitute in 5 for A and B for 20.